All right. So part two. I woke with a start. Grover was shaking my shoulder. The truck stopped, he said. We think they're coming to check on the animals. Hide, Annabeth said. She had it easy. She just put on her magic cap and disappeared. Grover and I had to dive behind feed sacks and hope we looked like turnips. The trailer doors cracked open, sunlight and heat poured in. Man, one of the truckers said, waving his hand in the front of his ugly nose. I wish I hauled appliances. He climbed inside and poured some water from a jug into the water dishes. Or animal dishes, sorry. You hot, big boy? He asked the lion, then splashed the rest of the bucket on the lion's face. The lion roared in indigestion. Yeah, the man said. Next to me, under the turnip sacks, Grover tensed. For a peace-loving herbivore, he looked downright murderous. The trucker threw the antelope a squashed-looking Happy Meal bag. He smirked at the zebra. How you doing, Stripes? At least we get rid of you at this next stop. You like the magic show? You go love this one. They going to saw you in half. The zebra, wild-eyed with fear, looked straight at me. There was no sound, but it was clear as day. I could tell he was saying, free me, please. I was too stunned to react. There was a loud knock, knock, knock on the side of the trailer. The trucker inside yelled, what you want, Eddie? Voice yelled. Must have been Eddie's. Shouted, Maurice, what do you say? What you banging for? Knock, knock, knock. Outside Eddie yelled, what banging? Our guy Maurice rolled his eyes and went back outside, cursing at Eddie for being an idiot. A second later, Annabeth appeared next to me. She must have done the banging to get Maurice out of the trailer. She said, this transport business cannot be legal. No kidding, Grover said. He paused, as if listening. The lion says these guys are animal smugglers. That's right, the zebra's voice said in my mind. We've got to free them, Grover said. He and Annabeth both looked at me, waiting for my lead. I'd heard the zebra talk, but not the lion. Why? Maybe it was another learning disability. I could only understand zebras. Then I thought about horses. What kind did Annabeth say Poseidon created horses? Was a zebra close enough to a horse? Was that why I could understand him? The zebra said, open my cage, man. Please let me free. Outside, Eddie and Maurice still yelling at each other, but I knew they'd be coming inside to torment the animals again any minute. I grabbed Riptide and slashed the lock off the zebra's cage. The zebra burst out. It turned to me and bowed. Thank you. Grover held up his hand and said something to the zebra in goat talk like a blessing. Just as Maurice was poking his head back into the check the noise, the zebra leaped over him and into the street. There was yelling and screaming and cars honking. We rushed to the door of the trailer in time to see the zebra galloping down a wide boulevard lined with hotels and casinos and neon signs. We just released a zebra in Las Vegas. Maurice and Eddie ran after it, with a few policemen running after them, shouting, Hey, you need a permit for that animal. Now would be a good time to leave, Annabeth said. The other animals first, Grover said. I cut the lock with my sword. Grover raised his hands and spoke the same goat blessing he used for the zebra. Good luck, I told the animals. The antelope and the lion burst out of the cage and went off together into the street. Some tourists screamed. Most just backed off and took pictures, probably thinking it was some sort of stunt by a casino. Will the animals be okay? Asked Grover. I mean, the desert and all. Don't worry, he said. I placed a sacred sanctuary on them. Meaning? Meaning they'll reach the wild safely. They'll find water, food, shade, whatever they need to find in a safe place to live. Why can't you place a blessing like that on us? I asked. Why can't you put a blessing like that on us? I asked. It only works on wild animals. So it would only affect Percy then? Annabeth said. Hey! I protested. Kidding. She said, come on, let's get out of this filthy truck. We stumbled out into a desert storm. It was 110 degrees, easy, and we must have looked like deep-fried vagrants. But everyone was too interested in the wild animals to pay any attention to us. We passed Monte Carlo and the MGM. We passed pyramids, a pirate ship, and the Statue of Liberty, which was a pretty small replica. but still made me homesick. I wasn't sure what we were looking for. Maybe just a place to get out of the heat for a few moments. Find a sandwich and a glass of lemonade, make a new plan for getting west. Must have taken a wrong turn because we found ourselves at a dead end, standing in front of the Lotus Hotel and Casino. The entrance was a huge neon flower, the petals lighting up and blinking. No one was going in or out, but the glittering chrome doors were open, spilling out air conditioning that smelled like flowers. Lotus blooms, maybe. I've never smelled one, so I wasn't totally sure. The doorman smiled at us. Hey, kids, you look tired. You want to come in and sit down? I'd learned to be suspicious the last week or so. I figured anybody may be a monster or a god. You just couldn't tell, but this guy was normal. One look at him and I could see. Besides, I was so relieved to hear somebody who sounded sympathetic that I nodded and said we'd love to come in. Inside, we took one look around and Grover said, "Whoa." The whole lobby was a giant game room. And I'm not talking cheesy old Pac-Man games or slot machines. There was an indoor water slide snaking around the glass elevator, which went straight up at least 40 floors. There was a climbing wall on the side of one building and an indoor bungee jumping bridge. There was a virtual reality suits that were working laser guns and hundreds of video games, each one with the size of a widescreen TV. Basically, you name it, this place had it. There were a few other kids playing, but not that many. No waiting for any of the games. There were waitresses and snack bars all around, serving every kind of food you could possibly imagine. Hey, a bellhop said. At least I guess he was a bellhop. He wore a white and yellow Hawaiian shirt with Lotus designs, shorts, and flip-flops. Welcome to the Lotus Casino. Here's your room key. I stammered, what? No. The bill's taken care of. No extra charge, no tips. Just go to the top floor. You get to stay in room 4001. If you need anything, like extra bubbles for a hot bath or skeet targets for some shooting range or whatever, you just call the front desk. You get it free. Here's a Lotus cash card. They work in all the restaurants and on all the games and rides. He handed us each a green plastic credit card. I knew there must be some mistake. Obviously, he thought we were some millionaires' kids. But I took the card and said, "So how much is on here?" His eyebrows knit together. "What do you mean?" "I mean, when does it run out of cash?" He laughed. "Oh, you're making a joke. That's cool. Enjoy your day." We looked at the elevator upstairs and checked out our room. It was a suite with 3 separate bedrooms, a bar stocked with candy, soda, and chips, a hotline to room service, fluffy towels, water beds with feather pillows, a big screen TV with satellite and high-speed internet. The balcony had its own hot tub. And sure enough, there was a skeet shooting machine and a shotgun so you could have a launch clay pigeons right out over the Las Vegas skyline and plug them with your gun. I didn't see how that could be legal, but I thought it was pretty cool. The view over the area was the desert, and it was amazing. Though I doubted we'd ever find time to look at the view with a room like this. "Oh, goodness," Annabeth said. "This place is sweet," said Grover. "Absolutely sweet." There were clothes in the closet, and they actually fit me. I frowned, thinking that this was a little strange. I threw Aries' backpack in the trash can. Wouldn't need that anymore. When we left, I could just change into a new one at the hotel store. I took a shower, which felt awesome after a week of grimy travel. I changed clothes, ate a bag of chips, drank 3 Cokes, and came out feeling better than I had in a long time. In the back of my mind, some small problem kept nagging me. I'd had a dream or something. I needed to talk to my friends, but I was sure that it could wait. I came out of the bedroom and found that Annabeth and Grover had also showered and changed clothes. Grover was eating potato chips to his heart's content, while Annabeth cranked up the National Geographic channel. All those stations, and you turn on National Geographic? Are you insane? It's interesting. I feel good, Grover said. I love this place. Without his even realizing it, the wings sprouted out of his shoes and lifted him a foot off the ground, then back down again. So what now? Annabeth said. Should we sleep? Grover and I looked at each other and grinned. We both held up our green plastic Lotus Cash cards. Playtime! I said. I couldn't remember the last time I had so much fun. I came from a relatively poor family. Our idea of a splurge was eating out at Burger King and renting a video. A 5-star Vegas hotel? Forget it. I bungee jumped the lobby 5 or 6 times. I did the water slide. I snowboarded the artificial ski slope. I played VR laser tag and FBI sharpshooter. I saw Grover a few times going from game to game. He really liked the reverse hunting thing, where the deer go out and shoot the rednecks. I saw Annabeth playing trivia games and other Brainiac stuff. They had this huge 3D sim game where you build your own city, and you could actually see the holographic buildings rise in the display board. I didn't think much of it, but Annabeth loved it. I'm not sure when I first realized something was wrong. Probably it was when I noticed the guy standing next to me in a VR sharpshooter. He was about 13, I guess, and his clothes were weird. I thought he was some Elvis impersonator's son. He wore bell-bottom jeans and a red t-shirt with black piping, and his hair was permed and gelled like a New Jersey girl's on homecoming night. We played a game of sharpshooter together, and he said, "Groove mayhem. But here 2 weeks in this game keeps getting better." Groovy. Later, while we were talking, I said something was sick, and he looked at me like he was startled, as if he never heard someone say that word before. He said his name was Darren, but as soon as I started asking him questions, he got bored with me and started to go back to the computer screen. I said, "Hey, Darren, what year is it?" He frowned at me. "In the game?" "No, in real life." He had to think about it. Well, it's 1977. "No," I said, getting scared. "Really?" "Hey, man, bad vibes. I got a game happening." And then he totally ignored me. Started talking to people and found it wasn't easy. They were all glued to a TV screen or a video game or their food or whatever. I found a guy who told me it was 1985. Another guy told me it was 1993. They all claimed they hadn't been here very long, a few days, a few weeks at most. They didn't really know, and they didn't really care. Then it occurred to me, how long had I been here? Seemed like only a few hours, but was it? I tried to remember why we were here. We were going to Los Angeles. We were supposed to find the entrance to the underworld. My mother. For a scary second, I had trouble remembering my mom's name. Sally Jackson. I had to find her. I had to stop Hades from causing World War III. I found Annabeth still building her city. "Come on," I told her. "We got to get out of here." No response. I shook her. "Annabeth." She looked up annoyed. "What?" "We need to leave." "Leave? What are you talking about? I've just bathed these towers. This place is a trap." She didn't respond until I shook her again. "What?" "Listen, the underworld, our quest." "Oh, come on, Percy, just a few more minutes." "Annabeth, there are people here from 1977, kids who have never aged. You check in and you never leave." "So, can you imagine a better place to be?" Annabeth said. I grabbed her wrist and yanked her away from the game. "Hey!" She screamed and hit me, but nobody else even bothered looking at us. They were too busy. I made her look directly in my eyes. I said, "Spiders. Large, hairy spiders." That jarred her. Her vision cleared. "Oh my God! How long have we been?" "I don't know, but we have to go find Grover." We went searching and found him still playing VR Deer Hunter. "Grover!" we shouted. He said, "Die, human, die, silly, polluting, nasty person." "Grover!" He turned the plastic gun on me and started clicking as if I were another image on the screen. I looked at Annabeth, and together we took Grover by the arms and dragged him away. His flying shoes sprang to life and started tugging his legs the other direction as he shouted, "No! I just got to the next level! No!" The Lotus bellhop hurried after us. "Well, are you ready for your platinum cards?" "We're leaving." "Such a shame," he said. And I got the feeling that he really meant it, that we were breaking his heart if we left. "We just added an entire new floor of games for Platinum Card members." He held out the cards and I wanted one. I knew that if I took one, though, I'd never leave. I'd stay here, happy forever, playing games forever, and soon I'd forget my mom. I'd forget my quest. I might even forget my own name. I'd play VR and Groovy Disco Darren forever. Grover reached for the card, but Annabeth yanked his arm back and said, "No, thanks." We walked toward the door, and as we did, the smell of the food and sounds of the game seemed to get more and more inviting. I thought about our room upstairs. We could just stay the night, sleep in a real bed for once. Then we burst through the doors of the Lotus Casino and ran down the sidewalk. It felt like afternoon. About the same time of day we'd gone into this casino, but something was wrong. The weather had completely changed. It was stormy. The heat lightning flashed all around the desert. Aries' backpack was slung on my shoulder, which was odd because I was sure I threw it in the trash can. But in a moment, I had other problems to worry about. I ran to the nearest newspaper stand and read the year first. Thank the gods, it's the same year as when we went in. Then I saw the date, June 20th. We had been in that Lotus Casino 5 days. We only had 1 day till the summer solstice, 1 day to complete our quest.